Hey everyone, Mitch coming in for the Commander Score Studio. Welcome to the show. So, on today's episode, we're going to be talking about what might be some absolutely massive news, and depending on where you stand on this kind of a topic, you might really like it, like me, or you might really not like it. And again, this is, well, not confirmed to be officially what Wizards is doing, but when you've got the head designer of Wizards saying something like this, you take note of it, and you see if things actually change. So let's jump into it. On Blogatog, not too long ago, Mark Rosewater was asked by Girls Nout, how likely or even possible is a set with very few, like fewer than 10 legendary creatures? I love Commander and learning the lore of Magic characters, especially when they get multiple printings and we can see their characterization evolve through mechanics, but I feel like older Magic had more of a giant armies of monsters clashing flavor that it doesn't quite have now. I agree. We've been talking about lowering the average of legendary creatures in Magic IP sets. Universes Beyond, due to its nature, will still want a lot of legendary creatures, as named characters of an IP are a big draw. So, this is interesting because this is actually something that I brought up over the past couple of years. Well, I think last year, essentially, I kind of like showed off like a chart, or at least kind of went through the different years and showed off kind of how many commanders have come out every single year and how the amount over the past couple of years has really skyrocketed, and I'll go through some numbers here in a bit, but yeah, it's gotten a bit ridiculous, and well, when it comes to actually, what Magic is and what it should be, it's kind of being warped a little bit by Commander and how Wizards is trying to really cater to Commander, and maybe a bit too much. I mean, Commander was doing great before Wizards really focused on it, and then, there's certain problems that come with that focus, with Commander being the #1 format in Magic, and Wizards obviously wanting to make things that Commander players want to buy. And because of that, yeah, they kind of went a little crazy with the number of legendary creatures every single year in every single set. I mean, just a couple of months ago, right, in Lord of the Rings, I'll probably go through the numbers here in a bit, Lord of the Rings, I think, had like 86 in the main set, and like another 60 or so, or 50 or so in the precons as well. Now, again, Mark Rosewater did say that would be a Universes Beyond set, right? Essentially, it's not a Magic IP. So those numbers might not come down, but the kind of regular set legendaries would come down, hopefully. And actually, I really hope they, bring down the legendaries in Universes Beyond too, because, yeah, it's just to me a bit ridiculous. It's just a bit, and again, you can have your own opinion on this. You can have a differing opinion. You can love that there's so many legendary creatures out there. I just kind of think that, like, when everything is Christmas, when everything is legendary, like, things lose their special, their specialness to them. Their like, interesting factor just kind of goes down. When you have, like, kind of like a copy of a commander that we've already seen, but like a slight difference, or one that, like, especially the ones that don't matter. And yes, I know there's been plenty of arguments in the Magic community about, like, those kind of just the commanders that, like, aren't meant to be used as commanders, I guess should be said. Like, I guess there's a couple different factors on why people, or not people, or, famous, legendary characters essentially exist in Magic, right, and actually get cards. So, like, I mean, the reasons would be, right, let's list them out, and I think I've actually seen this on Reddit as well, but, like, number one, these days, because, Wizards want there to be a commander that you can build around, right? That's one reason for a creature to be legendary, right? That is one of the reasons. Another one, number two, could be, like, in a different environment, in a different format, they might want to limit how powerful that creature is. I mean, basically, in Commander, you're only playing Singleton anyways, right? In other formats like Standard, yeah, you can have 4 or something, but yeah, you can't have 2 Shield Roots in play at the same time. So that's definitely a factor as well, limiting in that factor. I guess in Commander, it's kind of limited as well. Like, you can't clone it except for a couple of different ways to clone it, like Areniscus' File Duplication, Spark Double, etc., etc. Yes, so there is that limitation. The third one, and the one that, yes, I know there's plenty of players out there who love the story, and I understand that, but I really don't like when they just make a card for a card's sake. Like, basically, hey, this is a character in the story. Cool. They might not be all that important, so they're not going to have a very powerful card, but yeah, we mentioned them in the story, so we're going to make them have a card from this set, and they're pretty much going to be useless. Like, the card does kind of nothing. Like, it's just like as if, like, you didn't actually need to print this card. It's a useless commander that doesn't do anything. except for just exists in the story. And again, that's just from my perspective. I don't like when that happens. Again, you can have story spotlight cards in different ways. There's plenty of cards out there that can be like, oh yeah, this character showed up in this instant, or this sorcerer, there's reference with this. There's other ways to handle it, in my opinion, and again, that just kind of increases the amount of legendary creatures and just kind of just the bombardment of legendary creatures that we have been getting over the past couple of years. It's just been an absurd amount. I mean, let's just take a quick look back, if we will. Basically, I started up in Commander like around 2016, 17, essentially, and yeah, my first Commander was Rich Carpemian Renegade. So yeah, there you go. This year, 2017, we got 45 Commanders. And again, in Skyfly put, is Commander not reprint? Again, I'm not counting reprinted Commanders that we've already seen before. Brand new Commanders, we got 45 back in 2017. That was, what, 6 years ago or so? So that amount has obviously gone up quite a bit. I mean, if we just increase that by a year, let's do that real quick. We go to 101. And again, Commander's taking off more and more. This is, I mean, Dominaria United came out, so a very legendary focused set. Obviously, it had a lot in there. That kind of made, you know, I guess some reasoning as to why that amount went up so much within a year. And so things were getting, you know, more and more popular. More and more Commanders are coming out. 2019, we actually saw a dip down to 78. Now, obviously, going from 45 up to 78 would still be a big jump. But yeah, going 45 to over 100, down to 78. Went down a little bit, a little more controlled. We did see, I think, Modern Horizons, or yeah, Modern Masters was in this as well. Yeah, some really exciting Commanders from these. A lot of powerful Commanders as well. And yeah, again, like 78, that's not, I mean, at that time, you know, it's kind of a good amount. It's a large amount, but it wasn't like a ridiculous amount. Now, as we keep moving on, though, 2020, we go up to 186. Yeah, that's a giant jump. So again, Wizards is really pushing Commander. I think 2020, was that supposed to be the year of Commander or whatever they were saying, essentially? Like, yeah, the first Commander set came out, essentially, the focused Commander set. Yeah, absolutely crazy. So, yeah, 2020, the year of Commander, 186 Commanders, an absurd amount of Commanders just jumping up. Commanders everywhere. Commanders here, Commanders there, Commanders everywhere, and you thought that was going to be the end of it. 2021, we actually go up just slightly, barely up from there, okay? 193. 193, obviously a ton, again, showing that, hey, yeah, the year Commander is not ending, essentially, right? We're just going to keep up and up and up with the number of Commanders that we have. And, yeah, we thought that that might be, you know, the high threshold, but last year was absolutely astronomically ridiculous with 362 Commanders. And yes, some of those sure are backgrounds or whatever, even if we take out backgrounds, right? Minus type backgrounds. Here we go. Let's see if we can do that. Minus type background. Is it just background? Yeah, oops, I messed that up. There we go. That takes out 30. There you go. I mean, obviously the combinations and whatnot, but still. Okay, so 332 Commanders. That is an absurd amount. Again, that's nearly a Commander for each day of the year. I mean, again, if you do, you know, count, you know, those backgrounds, basically that, essentially. So yeah, literally if you just said, okay, for spoilers, we're just not going to do spoiler seasons anymore. We're just going to reveal a new Commander every single day. That basically they could have done that last year. Absolutely absurd, impossible to keep track of what everything does and all the Commanders. And, you know, if you're, as you're building one deck from a Commander that you see, you know, in this spoiler season, as soon as that spoiler season's done, you know, the next one starts 2 weeks later, and there's a Commander that does what you just built, but better. Kind of crazy. Now, when it comes to actually this year and kind of where we're at so far, we are already at 246 new Commanders. Not reprints, new Commanders. My goodness. And we're already in what, we're just in August, so we still have, you know, 5 more months or whatever, essentially. Yeah, August, September, October, November, December, 5 more months. So absolutely crazy that we are already again at 246. So yeah, I mean, there's a reason why players are asking for less Commanders. You know, that's kind of something that you never would have thought would have happened years and years and years ago, right? You know, when, you know, you're like, okay, I want Commanders that do this or this or this or this or this. Too much of a good thing is not a good thing. You know, Christmas every day is not a good thing. It's kind of like the saying, essentially, right? It's never going to be good, you know, to just say, hey, have everything all the time, instead of just kind of making things, you know, again, special again, where, hey, yeah, we've only got, you know, these 50 or so Commanders coming every year, maybe even 80 or whatever it is, whatever that number is going to be, not 300. Not even 200, not 100. I mean, 100 is probably pushing it in my opinion, but just kind of focusing things a bit more. Again, not having those commanders that don't do anything. And again, yes, I understand. Again, some like to see the story spotlights through those commanders and seeing the card. Personally, I don't like, again, wasted commanders. I don't like wasted legendaries that don't really do anything. Again, let's just take a quick look last year. Let's go back to, I mean, maybe 2 years ago, so we don't get the backgrounds in there. And let's just sort by, you know, descending. So the least popular commanders of all time in that year. Yeah. Did we really need, you know, commanders like, well, the Deans? Those were pretty terrible. Ingarunais, why is that a thing? The Odric Blood Curse, that's just a joke at this point. There's so many of these kind of just commanders that, like Captain Ripley Vance, like ones that see absolutely no play. And again, it's just like, well, I want to make sure that, you know, you could give that card like a spotlight. Yeah, did you really need to? Like, just, I mean, it's again, just like wasted space of a card. You know, it's a card that doesn't see any play as a commander, any play in 99. And yeah, you do need some, like, you know, I mean, like draft fodder or whatever they call it essentially. But really? Really? Did you really need that many commanders that year, and you just had to make a card like this, and you couldn't just, you know, reference this, you know, legendary person on an instant or sorcery? Like, you could have done that if that's kind of really what you're saying. Like, well, we want to make sure, like, those cards, those characters are actually in the cards as well. I mean, back in the day, like, how long did it take for us to get, like, an Urza card, right? Like, Urza was just referenced in, like, 80 cards and never got his own card until, well, technically, like, Blindseer, right? Yeah, Blindseer. But, like, actually, Urza in Modern Horizons. So, like, do we really need that many legendaries? I personally don't think so. I think that, again, having way too much of a good thing is not a good thing. It just takes away from, I mean, a lot of exciting things with commanders, essentially. Again, having legendary after legendary after legendary. Again, like in Lord of the Rings, right? Let me just really quickly look. I mean, not reprint. Let's see. Set. I think it's LTR, right? 85. We had 85. So, yeah, Wizards, I mean, I know, Mark, you said that, hey, yeah, we're going to be probably taking down the number of legendaries in main sets, which is great. I mean, not main sets, I guess. Magic IP sets, which is great in my opinion. Please, please, please do that. Don't give us just meaningless commanders. But also, yeah, I would not like you to go nearly as ham with, yeah, the Universes Beyond ones either. I mean, like, do we really need Bill Fernie Bree Swindler? The one that, like, gives opponents horses? I don't think we really needed that. Like, there's actually a lot of kind of just throwaway. And again, like, the Balrog Flame of Undoon, a terrible, terrible, terrible commander. You already had 4 other versions of it, or whatever, 3 other versions. We had 5 Gandalfs. Do we need 85? I mean, this is 85, right? But I think LTC is right, the commanders. Another 36. So there you go. I was wrong on my initial one. Still, well over 100 commanders from the Lord of the Rings set. And again, you're saying that that's probably not going to decrease, you know, when it comes to Magic IPs coming up. So I'm kind of hoping that happens. Oh, not Magic IPs, Universes Beyond IPs. So yeah, I'm kind of hoping that happens just overall. Again, I hope there's some pushback on just like, again, we don't really need all these legendaries. Again, yes, we understand that there's different reasons for them, but still, it just kind of seems like some of them are throwaway cards that, yeah, you know, we'll never see play, but you just create them anyways, and just kind of just, it just kind of, to me, takes away the specialness of specialness, there we go, of like legendary creatures in general. But yeah, that's just my thoughts. So yeah, let me know in the comments below what your thoughts are on this. Do you think the number of legendary creatures should be decreasing? Do you think that should be just for Magic IPs or for Universes Beyond as well? For everything overall? Yeah, let me know in the comments what your thoughts are on all this. And of course, as always, thanks again and have a good one. This show and episodes like this one are possible thanks to viewers like you. If you're looking for an easy way to help support this show, make sure that you like, share, and subscribe. Also, hit that bell notification icon so you don't miss any new episodes. You can also go check out our playmats and other merchandise at thecommandersquarters.com. We also have a ton of brand new t-shirt designs in stock, so make sure you check out those as well. Another easy way to support this show is with our TCG Player affiliate links. So whether you're buying a deck or individual cards, you can use this general link right here or one in the description. And the final way that you can support this show is by supporting us directly by becoming a patron. There are many benefits to being a patron, and I truly couldn't do this without all of their support.